name is Jun, and I joined the University of St Andrews in 2021. And then I started doing economics and management, but then eventually moved on to just Masters of Arts management for the 4 years and graduated literally July 4th this year, which is quite funny. And um, and yeah, ever since then, I got an offer to work in the new business department in St Andrew, in Revolut, and then yeah, I started like a month and a bit ago now. So I think next week will be my 6th week. So yeah, proper corporate lad right now.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions on your sort of
Mm.
career snapshot, if that makes sense. So could you start by telling us a bit about your current role at Revolut and what a typical day looks like for you?
Yeah, sure. So my role specifically is new business account executive, and mainly, well, literally on the SMB side, so more small and medium enterprises. And basically, we it's a 360 sales role essentially, where you go from like, prospecting the right client. So for us, it'd be clients, well, people with businesses that have an annual turnover of 15 million or under in pounds. And so yeah, you start with like, prospecting, and then you log them on as leads, and then you start developing those leads, right? You start um finding finding out if they're eligible, if they're qualified to be within the ideal customer profile of Revolut Business.
Mhm.
And then you move on, you outreach, you talk to them, and eventually once you kind of establish a good connection and find you find out what they need and whether or not they could benefit by using Revolut, then you help them onboard and you take care of their account for like another 90 days or so to make sure that like they know how to use our products and then know what are the best products for them to use. And so yeah, on a day-to-day basis, it's basically it's very important in this role to essentially make sure that you take care of the entirety of this, we call it the pipeline that you are responsible for. You're responsible for your own pipeline, and from prospecting to closing and onboarding at the end, you want to make sure that you're doing enough of those and you're doing those well on a kind of week to week basis. So that's why kind of, I guess, time management and scheduling is super important. And on a day to day basis, you want to have a very clear schedule of, you know, how much prospecting I'm going to do today, how much kind of demo meetings I'm gonna do today, how much, let's say, onboarding or kind of like just client follow up that I'm gonna do today, and then you plan it out for the rest of the week. And you try to make it interesting, so you're doing different stuff at different times, and you don't get too bored.
Perfect. That sounds very interesting. So what would you say led you to pursue a career in sort of fintech and business development after graduating in management from St Andrews?
Mm, I was quite interested in technology in the first place because I think that so much progress, especially in like just recent times and like, in the modern age, right, is just directly from the technological boom that we've had in the past 100 years or so. But
Hmm.
then again, like I'm not super, well, I mean, I don't think computer science is something for me. I didn't do it for the degree, and I don't think like coding is something that excites me that much. I know it's very cool for some people. For me, I don't really like the idea of just typing stuff on a computer all the time. But I was still interested in kind of tech, and I was also interested in finance because I think in finance it's somewhere where you could really be put into contact with all sorts of different people, the brightest minds, and also all sorts of people from different industries, and you try and help them. And I think that's a very interesting and fun thing to meet so many people from different, backgrounds doing different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I realized maybe finance and technology, okay, fintech would be a pretty good kind of career path to pursue. And so yeah, that's kind of why I'm here really.
Yeah, okay, definitely. So when you sort of think back to your career journey so far, obviously it's
Mm.
been fairly new, but how would you sort of describe your path from university to where you are today?
As if, do you mean like the progress of what I made to eventually lead me to this stage, or?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first started uni, I had no clue what I wanted to do, and I think that's probably quite a few people as well. But um, what I think I did fairly well is that I tried my best to just try a bunch of different stuff and let it be extracurricular stuff or just more academic and like kind of career
Hmm.
focused, just things and events. I just tried to do a lot of different stuff and I did a lot of discovery on myself essentially. And at the same time, I tried to just essentially do things in like different places as well. So if you look at like kind of if you had my CV in front of you, you'd see that I'd have a pretty kind of global sort of like well, maybe not presence, but just like experience
Hmm.
where like I mean I was born in Hong Kong. I'm from Hong Kong, and then but I also live in mainland China now. And then I came to study high school in the UK, well in England specifically, at 11 years old. And then well I came to Scotland to study in St Andrews, right? And I've also done internships in like the US and stuff. And I think yeah, I think what was quite good, quite unique, and quite beneficial in my kind of path to me
Hmm.
now is it's like a global perspective. And I think most important thing about a global perspective is like being worldly. And it means that you have seen a lot of different things such
Hmm.
that you understand more about different parts of the world, which will kind of come together and give you a better understanding of things in general. And it will also allow you with an opportunity to connect with people from different places.
Yeah.
From places where you've been, you have stuff to talk about and stuff like that. And that's very important. And especially like now that I work at Revolut, where it's a super like international
Hmm.
company, very very diverse. Like it helps that with this kind of yeah with this worldliness, you get to like make good friends and connect with a lot of people within the office, and that's definitely a good thing because well in an office you want to have as many friends as possible and as little enemies as possible. So yeah, I think just by trying out new things and being in trying and having like just looking global
Okay.
was kind of what led me onto my route that I've been in now.
Yeah. Perfect. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your sort of pathway and Revolut experience so far.
Mm,
So, how did you first get involved with Revolut? And obviously, you said that you quite like the diversity and stuff of the company, but what
mm.
sort of attracted you specifically?
So, I mean, before I started applying for Revolut and like taking Revolut like as an interest for like my career, like I already used Revolut before, and
Hmm.
a lot of people have. We currently have like what, over 12 million users in the UK alone, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, it all started with just me starting to use Revolut, and sometimes it's just more convenient. Like
Hmm.
payments are quicker and stuff, and like there's less admin and stuff. So I
Yeah.
thought, this is pretty cool, and like this kind of aligns with what I want as a kind of like using technology to change things and like make something better and easier to use, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, that's interesting. And then I reached out to, well, someone who also graduated from St Andrews. We were in the same hall, but he graduated a year before me.
Hmm.
And he worked, I saw on his LinkedIn that he's been working at Revolut. So I reached out to him, understood more about how it's like. He, yeah, he had a lot of positive things to say about it. And I'm like, you know what? Like that could be good. And he was also kind enough to refer me, which was huge. And yeah, that kind of got me to start applying for Revolut and considering. And the more I understood and realized about it, the more I found it interesting. So it kind of worked well quite naturally, and I guess I'm
Yeah.
lucky about that.
Wow, that's great. Definitely. Revolut's obviously known for its sort of fast-paced, high growth environment. What would
Mm.
you say that you've learned about working in that sort of setting?
Um, Revolut is definitely very, very fast paced. I mean, I had essentially kind of like a mentor I have in office. He's worked
Mhm.
in many places before. He started in like JP Morgan and then worked in Bank of America and well like Salesforce, Stripe and all of that. And now he's in Revolut. Yeah, and
Mhm.
he's saying that, like a month in Revolut is like a couple months or more in like many other companies
Mhm.
because yeah, it's just you're expected to like start doing your job right from the beginning and you expect to learn from the way you do it.
Right.
So I guess in terms of what I was able to learn from it, it's that you have to be super, super, super proactive in your approach and you can't really just follow a schedule, if you see what I mean.
Mhm.
And yeah, there are some people who would prefer to follow schedules. And what I realized is that you learn the most when you don't just do what's on your calendar, but you reach out to like most importantly, you come to office, you reach out to other people, the seniors, and you learn. And I think this sort of kind of more like apprenticeship style is what you need for a fast-paced environment because
Mhm.
having like kind of one teacher or like one online learning module or whatever that's designed for everyone, it kind of takes away that efficiency you could have by having like a point to point kind of education process. So yeah, just just be proactive and find kind of like a mentor. It's super, super important.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Thank you. Um, what like sort of skills or mindsets from your management degree have proven most useful in your current work that you do now?
Mm. It's like going back to what when we were saying literally in the previous question about like in a fast-paced environment you want to like and you Revolut really wants you to like get your hands on things. And I think
Mhm.
the management department or like the business school department now,
Mhm.
one thing they do really good is like they really try to get you on that hands-on experiences with those kind of like in-person class workshops and also on like tutorials and stuff. And I think
Mhm.
that's super, super helpful.
Yeah.
And really prepares you for like, taking initiative and like getting your hands dirty on things to achieve results.
Mhm. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Would you be able to share an example of like a project or an achievement at Revolut that you're specifically proud of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still quite new,
Yeah.
but I actually do have something that I'm quite happy about and I'm quite proud of. It's
Mhm.
not per se like a like a like a project I've been doing
Mhm.
like job wise, but it's more so like something I did within the office. So talking about that mentor that I had, the reason why I mean he became my mentor is because there's in the office there's always been talk about him being like the top guy who closes on like super super top clients and stuff. And
Mhm.
then like one day I just went up to him, introduced myself, like presented myself well, got and then and I I not only kind of what I did was I didn't go in just on behalf of myself, but I actually asked him that you're very very top salesperson, you do really well and you exceed your targets very well. So would you be interested in like doing a like a meeting sometime for like all of our grads, and I'll try and organize and get as many people as possible so that like
Mhm.
for all the new joiners, for all the grads who just joined the company and just started like their first real job, we could see if there's any advice and stuff you could give us. And he was super nice. He was like, yeah, sure. And then like we did eventually organize an event where we just booked up one of the big meeting rooms where there were a lot of people coming in. We had like what I think 25 or 30 grads joining that event, and everyone. Well, I mean, first of all, everyone learned a lot from that meeting. Second of all, but like I made a lot more new friends, and third of all, like the guy became my mentor. We became really close. So like, yeah, I think that's probably my proudest achievement so far, and hopefully there'll be more yet to come.
Yeah, well, that is very impressive. So, how do you think the world of digital finance is changing, and what role do you sort of see yourself playing in that evolution?
Hmm. I think in digital finance, everything's becoming easier and more user friendly and more accessible. And that's literally what Revolut is trying to do, right? Like Revolut is trying to revolutionize finance to make it, well, as I said, more user friendly, more accessible, more convenient, and more importantly, kind of cheaper.
Yeah.
Um, for not only retail customers but also business customers. And yeah, that's what all of us in Revolut across different departments are trying to do. And specifically in regarding to my role, I think it's more about educating kind of clients and potential customers within markets who would fit into our ideal customer profile, and that'd be a lot of businesses because we are competitive on many types of products that we offer, and we also do it all on one. We call it the super app, so it becomes a lot more convenient and saves lot of like kind of time, stress, and admin of our clients. So
Hmm.
yeah, for us, it's more about, finding out people who would benefit from us and then educate them and then help them kind of onboard and um, join kind of the world of Revolut and benefit from it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And what's one misconception people have about working in sort of fintech or startups?
For fintech, I think some people immediately think, okay, financial technology is going to be just like other financial firms, like let's say IBs and stuff,
Yeah.
where it's it, it it's a lot of kind of the analyst stuff and all of that. But we do have like departments that might be a bit more like that. But in general, I think we are more like a tech firm with like a lot of tech people. And then you have people more in the finance, but and your sales as well. So it's a bit more like diverse in terms of roles as well.
Yeah.
We're more like, I guess, like Google, Apple, Nvidia, that sort of company
Yeah.
instead of like, let's say, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. Um, and in terms of startups, I think one thing people generally think about when they think of startups is that, when you've just started, it might be quite disorganized, and then like you have different sort of people um, who are quite new to things, and it's hard to like organize and coordinate between departments and between teams. But I wouldn't say that's the case because at least from what I've seen at Revolut, we're all super organized. All of the departments function really well within themselves and also collaboratively in one just gigantic system. So I think that's more like a myth that could be debunked as well.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Amazing. Thank you. So I'm just going to ask a few questions now on just the your time in St Andrews and the sort of legacy and the reflections that you have on that.
Hmm.
So looking back, how did your time at St Andrews influence your approach to business or even leadership?
I think St Andrews is a great community for like just just the people side of things. This is a small town, so you're always
Hmm.
interacting with people. And when I was there, like I'd walk to Tesco and like bump into five people I know, right?
Yeah.
So it really shows you how important the people side it is for like for any sort of organization or leadership. Like I mean, this kind of applies to more than just like business, but let's say in any organization that you're at, like in St Andrews, let's say, like a sports club or like a society that you're in, or you want to start your own society, it's just always so important to have those people that are willing to help you, willing to support you, and
Hmm.
willing to help you out until you start snowballing and you get like a good kind of presence on the campus. And that's from experience of me co-founding a society when I was in uni as well. So yeah, like, and you do get that in St Andrews because everyone is just so close to each other, like kind of physically. which makes it easier to
Yeah.
connect and like actually be close together on like, a personal level. So yeah, that's definitely what I learned in St Andrews specifically, that you really want to cultivate that kind of personal presence, which will then be super helpful for everyone. And that's why I came to this interview, right? I think you guys are doing very much the right thing, trying to organize and coordinate all the good stuff and good people and connections that St Andrews has into one and turn it into more meaningful and a helpful present for everyone, hopefully from now and in the future.
Yeah. No, definitely. Were there any specific modules, professors, or even experiences that have sort of inspired your professional interests?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. Do you study management?
No, I study IR, but
Yes, yes, yeah. So in management, there's like this professor called Dr. Davis, and I'm sure a lot of people in management know her. She's quite the legend, and she always comes into like all the like classes or tutorials or whatever with like such great energy, and I think that really inspired me to um to do like more like a people facing role and bring that energy to other
Mhm.
people because I just found it pretty cool and pretty fun, and she is quite an inspirational figure as well. So yeah, there's that.
Okay, that's great. Obviously, we discussed that there's a sort of specific culture and close-knit community of St Andrews. Is there any way that that sort of prepared you for your current role that you're in?
I mean, I did get massive help from my friend who gave me the referral in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And just, I mean, so some of the people that I'm looking to help with Revolut, some of them are, St Andrews alumni as well. Or, I mean, there are some people who have started businesses when they were still in St Andrews, right? So
Yeah.
having that community bounded by a communal identity is definitely very, very valuable. And that's what I think what St Andrews, especially with top quality people that we do attract and have, that's something that's very useful and very helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So the Legacy Association sort of celebrates the impact of St Andrews graduates. Um, what do you think makes the St Andrews experience unique in shaping future leaders?
Mm, I think what St Andrews has is that we have a lot of people um, who are not only from a very global stage, so like we're people everywhere, but
Mhm.
also people who are quite well connected. Um, and if we could kind of bring that together and unite that under like the banner of St Andrews, and I think that's something that's gonna be really good. And yeah, I think cultivating that community with like the legacy aspect of such as like the legacy association would be would be very beneficial.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. So I'm just gonna ask you for some advice and just a few closing questions. What advice would you give to current St Andrews students who want to build a career in fintech or business development?
Mm, I'd say for the most part, I mean, this again applies to like more than just fintech, but being proactive is super, super important. And I guess for people who want to be interested in fintech, like being proactive in the right direction, reaching out to the right people would be good. And I think, I mean, within campus, there's like the St Andrews FinTech Society, which was founded by like a friend of mine
Yeah.
who's still in uni, and that could be a good start. Utilizing the career center is also a good start as well, but you also want to take the initiative and do more than that. So what I found was quite beneficial was just go on LinkedIn and reach out to people who, maybe shared an experience with you at some point, like let be high school or uni or same internship or whatever. That definitely helps. And yeah, I mean, I found my referral through LinkedIn as well, so that's super important. And otherwise, um, go to career fairs, maybe not in St Andrews, because we don't really have that many career fairs in St Andrews, simply because we're so far away from everything else.
Yeah.
We're this nice heavenly little town. But then as a result, like for people to come in, they need to take a flight and then like maybe like a bus or train and then maybe
Yes.
a taxi afterwards.
Hmm.
So yeah, like go to some events, maybe do like a trip to like London at some point, because when it comes to UK, like London is just the place to be when it comes to career prospects. So you could do a trip down there, or it might be online events as well. So yeah, I'd say in fintech, there are always opportunities available because it's like a growing and booming industry.
Yeah.
So it's more about how do you get to that? What's like the vehicle that'll take you from, right now as a student looking for a good, like a top student trying to look for like a job prospect, and then to like actually the job, and that eventually comes down to utilizing what you have in St Andrews and utilizing what you can do to take to like outside St Andrews by taking even more initiative.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think at the end of the day, initiative is what it takes to separate yourself, because so many people are suitable for one same job. So you kind of have to, I guess, run the extra mile. Just
Yes.
and that's what separates you.
Hmm. No, of course. Perfect. And finally, what
Hmm.
would you say legacy means to you personally, and how would you hope to contribute to the St Andrews Legacy Association going forward?
Um, I think legacy ultimately comes to, like a sense of bond. Like, yeah, honestly, legacy is just identity
Hmm.
of community, and I think that's a good way to sum it up, as I talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
And yeah, in terms of how I'd want to contribute, I mean, I'm more than happy to like help out with, but I'll pass down any knowledge that I might have gained in my career right now to the younger students. That's I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to refer suitable candidates as well. I'm more than happy to do that. And yeah, like, and I know that the Legacy Association is essentially trying to form kind of like a community within St
Hmm.
Andrews. And it's like a just like a network, right? Like a network between not only past, current, but also future St Andrews students, so that everyone could have like enough of that bond to be more than just to be like a warm lead. And I find that super important, especially now that I do like a forward facing like outreaching job. Like
Hmm.
cold leads and warm leads are completely different things. And if Legacy Association could create a community where everyone has that sense of belonging, and between that community, within that community, you get that sense of um, closeness to where closeness to open even, then I'm more
Hmm.
than happy to be part of that community and contribute what resources and what insight that I might have.